Hello, Facebook fans and YouTube fans of DX Engineering. It is Tuesday afternoon here in the Eastern time zone of the USA. That's 17:15 Zulu on May 28, 2024. And this is Tuesdays with DX Engineering. This is a show where I like to have on some of the DX Engineering staff and to talk about all things DX Engineering. And you never know where it's going to go. Today, we have Jeff Steinman, N5TJ. Hello, Jeff.
Hello, Tim. Good afternoon. How are you today?
Good, good. Jeff, you talk to our customers from your home office in Texas.
Yes, that's correct.
So it's really great to have you on. And you never know, I guess, when a customer calls in, they might get you on the phone.
Having been here now just under a year, you get calls from all over the place, all over the world. You kind of can expect sometimes in the mornings and the flow, but yeah, you never know where somebody's calling from, what they're calling about. I mean, every time you pick up that line, it's a new experience. Sometimes it's somebody you've met or worked. Sometimes it's somebody you know. It's just amazing with our customer base and helping them to make decisions, products, issues they may have with the product, or whatever it may be. It's enjoyable and helping people out with the hobby.
And you're also doing some emails as well, right?
Yeah, that's right. We get the emails in with people. They maybe put an order in, having issues to receive something, so we do emails as well. It stays quite busy. I mean, we certain times the flow emails versus phone calls. And, sometimes things are very short. Sometimes people have a lot of questions on things, or they're doing a big project from antennas all the way to radio. And, we take the time to go through them to help them, make the best solution or best choices for their situation.
Right. And that is really important. I know we've heard from customers that said, hey, I wanted to spend a lot of money with you guys, but after I talked to your sales team, they said, hey, you might want a second look at this, and because you're not under commission or anything, you can take all the time you want.
And we do, Tim. It's a good point. Sometimes I get, especially with it could be people that have been a ham for a number of years getting back in, or people that are new hams and they've kind of seen a product, or somebody's talked about a product and that's the direction they're charging down, and kind of talk about what are they planning to do with the hobby, what are their interests, and kind of take a step back and maybe a piece at a time of what might be the right solution for them, to kind of help them enjoy the hobby.
So, Jeff, this was your first Hamvention under as a DX Engineering employee. What was that like?
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work, not as much as the people that actually set it up and tear it down, but it was a great, to meet customers, to see friends that I haven't seen that I've worked after being a ham for almost 45 years now. To meet my coworkers who, outside of a handful of people, I never met them, working with them day in and day out. The vendors that, we had vendors in the booth with different products and new products, and really seeing our customers get questions asked and answered, being able to buy products. So it was, from end to end, just a phenomenally positive experience at the DXC booth there at the Hamvention.
So let's talk about some of these products that you were around. One of the products I think you have a keen interest in is the new Rig Select, the SO4R.
Yeah, the Rig Select box, the new SO4R box, for people that have multiple radios and switching headphones and gears, well thought out device. We had the designer there in the booth, so he was able to answer questions to people. And I think that was a big positive I saw with customers is, some of the brands that the DXC carries, we had those folks in our booth to answer questions, do demonstrations, and I think that was a big positive.
Yeah, and some of the newest products, I mean, that SO4R box, the Rig Select box, is so new. It's just going to be available here this summer. What else did you see that was new at Hamvention, Jeff?
Yeah, I saw quite a few new things. I think the Carlson is a vendor we just started carrying. He's got a fold-over base for 25Gs, which we've had for some time, but now roof towers. And there's been other vendors over the past years that have made roof towers, and he had those on display there. I know they're not quite up on our webpage yet, But just talking to him about the engineering, how we built the product, designed it for ease of assembly was, very eye-opening and very interesting. I think it'd be a very popular product. BHI was there with their res antennas. So we had so many products there for people to look at and to talk to the people that, design and build these products. We're the SMEs at DXE. People call us and ask questions, but, we got a lot of different products. People have a lot of deep interest, and sometimes, going to the vendor himself, the manufacturer, is the best place to go to get the answers. And having those people in our booth, I think, was really strong for our customers.
I hear you loud and clear, and I think that the way our customers react to having some of these vendors in with us, we're going to expand that next year at Hamvention, and have even more of our, especially the exclusive vendors,
Yes,
around us, so that the customers can get, really down in the weeds answers to questions that they might have. Jeff, I heard that you have a keen interest on 6 meters. What's going on 6 meters at N5TJ?
not much lately. The band's been really poor this season so far, but I live in an HOA, so I've got a wire antenna for HF, but I've got just a small Moxon for 6, which kind of passes the test of the HOA on a little push-up pole. So I can work DX when the band is open. I'm single digits away from my DXCC on 6, so 90 something countries, and then I kind of got by a good friend of mine and former teammate, Dan Street, K3LR, who's also on 6, into chasing grid squares for this Fred Fish Memorial Award. So, that's for working all 488 grid squares in the continental U.S. And I need 4 more.
Wow. 4 more grids to work 488 grids.
And K5DTC is going to CN71 this weekend. That's one I need. So we're hoping that the conditions improve. So there's a couple out west I need, and then I need one in Texas. So some of these things have hams in them, not as active. So you're kind of listening, but it's fun. It's fun to chase. I've worked from home for a number of years, even before DXE, and kind of having the screen on and just being able to look over at it and see what's going on. So 6 meters is a lot of fun. I suggest to people now that every HF radio includes 6 meters, unlike the old days where 6 was a separate band. You don't need a big antenna to get on 6 and have fun when there's propagation. It's an amazing band.
So, and we sell lots of different 6 meter antennas, and a lot of them are small and inexpensive. So now, how much power are you running?
I do have an amplifier, so I can run 500 watts.
You can run 500. And how high up is your Moxon?
20 feet. 20
feet. So 20 feet, you do have an amplifier. And which radio are you using?
I'm using a 7610 at this time on 10 on 6, pretty much for everything. I've got an FTDX10. I haven't got around yet to putting FT8 and getting it set up. So my plan is to probably maybe leave that on 6 over the summertime and just kind of sitting there, because 6 is a band. When it's open, it's phenomenal. When it's not open, you just need to sit and wait. It's very different than HF propagation, and you got to have a lot of patience. And it's just amazing how, somebody 20 miles from you may be hearing and working something that you don't hear it, and then it'll change. It's not like HF at all. And people can look at, I think Frank Donovan, W3LPL, has done some presentations in the past at CTU and others on 6 meter propagation. I think some of those on the archives, very interesting on 6 meters.
Yeah, it is, referred to as the magic band. And so, what was the start date of like your DXCC on 6, and also for the chasing grids? How many years have you been doing this?
So DXCC probably about 6 when I got on the band for the first time. And then when we moved from Dallas to Austin, I had to start over on my grid squares, because the way the ARRL rules work on 6, I think if you move more than 200 kilometers, you start over. So, we've been here 3 years. So I've been able to get to 484 out of the 488 in 3 years. It's a lot of BIC time, as we say, in chair, and patience.
Yeah. And you say, well, the band's not that good right now, but that all could change tomorrow.
It could. There were some European. There's a bit of a European opening from here the other day, a little bit of JA opening. So you just never know on 6. You've got to have your patience on that band. Exactly. And when it's open, it is magic. And when it's not, it's cursed.
And if you have a question for Jeff, go ahead and put it in the chat, and let's take a look at the chat room and see what we've got in there. X-Ray Echo 2 Zulu Zulu is in there today, this afternoon. Also W3MLJ, and we saw Michael at Hamvention, and Zeb is there. K0 Zulu Norway Zulu, and Don. Hi, Tim and Jeff from Philadelphia. Hope you had a great Memorial Day weekend. That's Whiskey Juliet 3 United. And Dino says, too bad DXE doesn't sell spectrum analyzers. Well, it's on the list. But looks like he's got a 3.6 gig unit just before he left Hamvention. Our friend Scotty, WK3N, and says, congrats. Thank you, Scotty. Always good to have you on here. And let's see here. We've got more from Dino. He says, I'm impressed with Carlson's units as a ground-mounted satellite array base. And I think Jeff really was impressed with that as well. I did get a chance to talk to him, and he is an outstanding engineer. Dan, WA4 Mike Oscar Mike, sorry I missed you at Hamvention. You were in the instructors forum when I arrived early Friday afternoon. And yes, Carol Perry had a great instructors forum, and I was very honored to be asked to present there. And let's see, we got Dino says 0 to DXCC on 160 meters with the DX Engineering Thunderbolt vertical, which is a small vertical, but packs a punch. And of course, being in Virginia, that's a great accomplishment, Dino. So congratulations on that. Jeff, tell us what summertime looks like for N5TJ. Field day, VHF contest, what's going on?
Operating a little bit of each. I'd say busy time in the summer here and getting through the summer. Get a generator here, so whether I go join someone else for field day or break that out, put up a dipole and have a little fun. Always enjoyable to get in and operate. And then the VHF contest definitely would say. And then, of course, the IARU contest in July, kind of a special one for me. Always enjoyed that contest. And, as well as it's kind of tie into the WRTC and more recent events. So looking forward to and planning to attend actually the next WRTC just for fun.
So, Jeff, back to Hamvention here just for a minute. What was the surprise? What surprised you the most at Hamvention?
Tim, it's a good question. I would say what surprised me the most was, in a positive way, the volume of people. I mean, it was good to see the crowds. It were a lot of people. It was good to see and surprised that it didn't rain all the time, just a little bit of the time. So, people got to enjoy the flea market. So I would say it was a very, with some of the changes in the hobby and, one large vendor there in Mississippi that wasn't there, but I would say it was a very positive, and amateur radio looked very healthy at Dayton.
I think you're absolutely right. Everybody that I saw was upbeat, was really excited, really engaged. And it seemed like, guys were out there buying stuff. The flea market was busy. The vendors inside were busy. And so, it was a positive, on the hobby in itself. And the fact that, you can work that many grids on 6 meters. I'm sorry to go back to this so quickly. That is, it is a testament to the butt in the chair. You have to be there to do that kind of stuff. But the hobby has so many different things you can do, and I know that your expertise has been very valuable on the phones and on email to our customers, and that's just value add, right?
And I appreciate that, Tim. And I think, there are places where I can really help customers. People may call with an IC7 7610 and they've got questions. Okay, I've got that radio. Or somebody was hooking up an amplifier to a Yaesu radio. Okay, I've got exactly the same product and how to interface in the cables. And I get calls from questions about customers that products that I don't know about. Generally, I can help a lot of them through those questions if they're relatively straightforward. All of our documentation as well is online. So I'm always, outlining to people that if they're thinking about buying something, download the manual, take a look. You'll know what you're getting it, ahead of. But then the team, we have such a broad team and depth of experience across so many aspects of the hobby. When a customer calls with a question about something that I may not know about, I know who to send it to. I know who that can help them with it. So I think that's really the strength of the DX engineering team is the years of experience, the breadth of experience that we have.
Yeah, now we're really fortunate to have you and several others that are just the whole team has just got so much varied experience, and that's really good. We've got Dale on here, and it's November Alpha 8 Alpha. Boy, that's a nice call. November
Alpha
nice 8 Alpha. Great call. And Skip says, it was great to see Jeff at Hamvention this year. Speaking of manuals, Skip is the author of the DX engineering manuals. So all of the Parky manuals, thanks very much, Parky, for all you do to really make the DX engineering products, and even that Hustler manual, 65 pages to hot rod your Hustler. Really, really cool.
It is, Tim. I was going to say, when people call about asking about any vertical antenna and do they need radials or how to install, I point them to that manual to download it no matter what vertical you're looking at.
Yeah.
Whether it's a Hustler or other, that manual goes through the whole aspect of deploying that antenna, an antenna like that. It's a phenomenal resource.
Yes, it is. And Parky spent a lot of time putting that together, and it's really good. We also have Kilo Echo 8 Delta Oscar and Yankee Charlie 2 Victor Ocean Charlie from
Worked this weekend.
Ireland. Did you
work in WPX this weekend? Yeah.
Wow. Amateur radio is exploding in Indonesia. And, not just on FT8. Looks like these guys are getting into CW if you worked them this weekend.
Yeah, it's fantastic. People talk about FT8 and the digital aspects of the hobby. It's not uncommon that I answer the phone and take a call from someone that wants to learn CW and is interested in getting into CW and looking to buy a paddle. So it's good to see sideband CW, getting people into the hobby, whatever that may be, into this hobby to enjoy the hobby, and then they can broaden out their interests as they see fit.
Right. And it, you're talking about DX from Aruba. It's Papa 43 Kilo. So great to have you on, Marvin. And also Charlie, Delta Lima 6 Radio Delta Echo from Germany. And our good friend Michael, W8 Charlie India. Thanks, guys, for all you do for amateur radio. And Michael, thanks to you and the over 700 volunteers that made Hamvention happen. Well, Jeff, we could go on, but we won't. So let's wrap this up. We'll let you either get to lunch or to get back to the phones. And I'm going to get back to the email monster myself. It's Marty. We got to say hi to NN1C, just checking in. And also Kilo 5, Fox Juliet Alpha, Frank on the line. And from Norway, Lima Alpha 4, Juliet Germany Alpha, Eric. So thanks to all of you for watching. Thanks to you, Jeff, for being on today. And
thank you, Tim.
And we'll see you again next time here at DX Engineering. Until then, 73.